Chapter 381 Rising to the Surface. So the blood serums might have something to do with the plague? Asked Mo Fan. We'll know very soon, after a little investigation. I've stolen an ID card as your disguise to sneak into the vault. White Town has been in lockdown since the outbreak, so nothing is allowed to be transported in and out. I bet the defective blood serums are still somewhere in the town, said Ling Ling. It's time for the Clearski Hunter Agency to serve justice today. Mo Fan was excited. The blood serums were kept in a military supplies courtyard. Since Mo Fan had the ID card, he simply strutted into the place. Mo Fan clearly remembered that the place was heavily guarded when he first came to White Town, but since the invasion of the White Magic Falcons, many of the guards had been sent to the front line instead. The infiltration was fairly easy. Mo Fan soon observed people in white coats moving boxes from the vaults where the blood serums were kept. Many people were injured in the front line. We've been sent here to collect the blood serums. Since you've got a whole vault of them here, why are you stopping us from taking them? Snapped a soldier who pointed his finger at the guards in white coats close to the vaults. I've already told you, there isn't any blood serum here. Someone has already transported them to the front line. A guard in a white coat responded firmly. Do you think I'm blind? I've been a medic in the military for many years, and you're assuming that I can't recognize the blood serums? Is someone planning to take advantage of the precarious situation to earn a huge profit when the White Magic Falcons is invading us? Snapped the soldier righteously. Enough with the slander, we're merely following our orders, said the guard, embarrassed. Humph, order my ass. You pricks are unbelievable, hoarding important supplies to yourself. I will now take all the blood serums in the vaults, and see if anyone dares to confront Commander Ming Kuo. Soldiers, take all the blood serums from the vaults. A man with a black beard stepped forward. His badges alone revealed his identity as a commander. The guards in white coats were initially bold and confident, but their confidence quickly shattered when they saw a commander was involved. Commander Ming Kuo was ruthless. He led the battle mages and kicked the doors of the vaults open. As soon as the doors flung open, bottles of blood serums perfectly lined up on the racks in the vaults. The blood inside the containers showed a unique gloss under the light. And you're telling me these aren't blood serums? Snapped Commander Ming Kuo furiously. Those. The guards pulled a long face. Shut up, I'll turn you into ashes if you speak a word more. Our soldiers are in the midst of a bloodbath at the front line, while pricks like you were hoarding the supplies, yelled Commander Ming Kuo. The guards did not dare to speak further, apart from one who seemed to be medical personnel. It's fine if you're planning to take them, but may I give the Vice Elder of the Magic Court, Wang Yi, a heads up? These supplies belong to the Magic Associations and the Enforcement Union, so we still have to follow procedures. Trying to scare me off with a Vice Elder of the Magic Court? Commander Ming Kuo uttered a disdainful laugh. He waved his hand signaling his men to take the supplies away, leaving no room for discussion to the medical personnel. The battle mages had come in numbers. Although there were quite a number of guards there, they would not dare to oppose the army. They simply stood there exchanging glances with one another as the boxes of blood serums were carried away. The medical personnel wore a gloomy face. He quickly pulled out his phone and dialed a number. His panicked reaction was a clear indication that something had gone wrong. Vice Elder of the Magic Court, Wang Yi. Mo Fan's lips curled upward. He had obtained a useful piece of information. It was obvious that there was something wrong with the blood serums. Otherwise, why would they want to stop them from being taken away? The front line was currently under heavy attack, thus it only made sense that supplies like these were sent there straight away. Mo Fan was currently disguising himself as a medic, too. When he saw Commander Ming Kuo's people taking the blood serums, he quickly approached them. Commander, please wait, called Mo Fan. Who are you? Are you trying to stop me with some big names too? Ridiculed Commander Ming Kuo. No, not at all. I have a few soldiers injured, and yet I was unable to find any blood serums in the town. I was planning to take some from here, when I saw your people taking them away, said Mo Fan. Commander Ming Kuo glanced at Mo Fan, before looking at his proof of identity and confirmed that he was from the army, too. He waved his hand and ordered one of his men to give Mo Fan a box of the blood serums. Mo Fan expressed his gratitude, and just as he was about to pay the money, Commander Ming Kuo waved his hand and said, "Don't worry about it. We're all risking our lives for the city." A box of blood serums was rather costly. Commander Ming Kuo's words had plucked the strings in Mo Fan's heart. It turned out that he was a true soldier who cared about the city, even though his way of taking the supplies was rather rude. Mo Fan immediately left the courtyard after obtaining the box of blood serums. Ling Ling was waiting at the same spot. Her mouth opened wide when she saw Mo Fan carrying the box toward her. "Take your time with them, and see if there's anything wrong." Mo Fan handed the box of blood serums to Ling Ling. Ling Ling was an expert with medicines. She could analyze the components of the blood serums with simple equipment, but she just needed some time. "Have you found anything else?" asked Ling Ling. "Do you know the vice elder of the magic court, Wang Yi?" asked Mo Fan. The medical personnel had mentioned his name to stop the commander, thus it was possible that he was the person keeping the blood serums inside the vaults. "My sister should know." Ling Ling quickly called Leng Qing with the information. Leng Qing went silent for quite a long time with heavy breathing. "Seems like we're getting real close to the truth behind the plague," said Leng Qing in a grim voice. "What should we do now?" asked Mo Fan. "Mo Fan, Ling Ling, head over to West Fortress. Track the blood serums down. I believe the truth is rising to the surface real soon," said Leng Qing. "Got it, we'll go now." Mo Fan nodded. Things were getting really interesting. Soon, they would know who was responsible for the plague. Chapter 382. It's indeed him. The light of dawn gently scattered across the surface of West Lake, shining upon the 9 lightning halberds as the sky lit up. The people could now get a clearer look at the astonishing super magic. The lightning magic had firmly trapped the skyscraping snake. His body was covered with bruises. He looked extremely weak. He still revealed his upper body above the surface of the lake. He would glance at the terrified crowd surrounding the lake at times, and try to break free from the lightning punishment formation. Unfortunately, the formation was extremely solid, and it was impossible for him to barge his way out with his current strength. On the causeway, Tang Yue sat there and kept the black totem snake company. If the black totem snake were to leave the world forever, she wanted to share his last walk with him. The wounds on the black totem snake were spreading. The lightning from the halberds continued to strike at his body and torture him. Finally, the black totem snake seemed to have run out of energy. His body slowly curled up as he rested his head on his body. His eyes closed slowly. "Big guy, are you all right? Please stay with me for a while longer. I'll think of a way to save you." Tang Yue screamed at the beast. The black totem snake opened his heavy eyelids. He glanced at Tang Yue and uttered a soft shriek, as if he were just telling Tang Yue that he was taking a little nap as he was too tired. The wounds on the black totem snake festered badly. The lightning arcs penetrated into his skin mercilessly. They would only let him go once he was shattered into pieces. Tang Yue continued to scream at the giant beast to stop him from falling asleep. However, the black totem snake had already shut his eyes, not showing any reaction to her calls. Tang Yue covered her face in her hands, her eyes filled with tears. She stared at the black totem snake, which was slowly being torn apart by the lightning bolts, not knowing if he would fall into a permanent sleep. West Fortress. The sky was bright and clear, embellished with snowy white clouds. It would be a stunning view, without the blood splattering in the sky and flesh being torn apart. The sky above the fortress currently held a giant white storm. It loomed over the vast land and the humans' fortress. With just a glance, it was impossible to tell that the white storm was actually formed by thousands of white magic falcons. Their screams pierced like thunder. Their wings formed a white hurricane. Their eyes were filled with hunger, staring at the city full of humans in the distance. Meanwhile, magic spells were howling over the fortress. The colors from a variety of basic spells were blossoming like fireworks in the sky. A strong pungent odor from the destructive elements lingered across the land. A huge number of powerful magicians were battling in the sky among the countless wings and claws. The brilliance of sky palaces being aligned was a spectacular sight. The sky was filled with lines of meteors, each the funeral of a white magic falcon. Feathers and bodies burned into ashes, dyeing the sky a blazing red. A pair of eyes of death was emitting an eerie glow, like it belonged to a grim reaper. As they traveled across the sky, the white magic falcons nearby would turn into lifeless statues, which eventually smashed to pieces on the ground. A shadow elementalist raised his hands high up in the sky, reversing day and night. When he finished casting the spell, the whole area was covered in darkness, rendering the sharp eyes of the white magic falcons useless. A gigantic beast leapt into the sky and infiltrated the darkness. A moment later, cries of agony came out non-stop, as the beast brought a nightmare to the white magic falcons that were trapped inside the darkness. Rays of light arrows produced by plummeting rays penetrated the bodies of the white magic falcons, shooting them down from the sky. The endless basic spells could at most draw a line of defense in the sky above the fortress, preventing the white magic falcons from invading the safe zone. Only the advanced magicians and their advanced magic could deal efficient blows to the invading birds. As the royal guards joined the battle, the white magic falcons found themselves in a rather suppressed battle. Countless numbers of them were killed overnight. Their blood and corpses had given the vast land a scarlet baptism. The ruler-level demon beast seemed to be aware that the strength of their army was not strong enough to break through the humans' defense, so it had chosen to withdraw. As a result, the vast numbers of white magic falcons which were spiraling in the sky like a storm returned to the ridge. However, the situation was still not resolved yet. The demon beasts did not withdraw to their nest, but were resting temporarily in the woods closest to the fortress, waiting to launch their next attack. On a path close to West Fortress, Mo Fan was wearing a combat medic uniform and strutting down the road with Ling Ling, who was in a nurse outfit. They had received the credentials from Leng Qing, so they could easily walk past the security. Mo Fan raised his head and saw the flocks of white magic falcons flying into the distance. He glanced at the deformed corpses falling from the sky close to the fortress. The fortress used to be a mix of gray and white, and now it was stained with blood and feathers. The battle was horrifying. How many battle mages were sacrificed to kill so many white magic falcons? Mo Fan did not spend too much time indulging in the sorrow. He followed Leng Qing's order and tailed the blood serums to the fortress. All they needed to do now was to guard the tree stump and wait for rabbits. As soon as they arrived at the storage area, Mo Fan and Ling Ling used their disguises and claimed they were here to count and check on the blood serums. Unfortunately, most of the supplies were already distributed. There were only a few boxes left in the storage. "We're a step late," said Ling Ling. "The battle has just ended. The number of injured is enough to cover a whole field, so the demand for blood serums must be extremely huge." "Watch out, someone is coming. They don't look like people from the fortress," said Mo Fan. Ling Ling quickly shifted her attention towards several figures walking in their direction at a fast pace. "Let's hide." A few men came into the storage in a panic. When they discovered the blood serums had already been taken by the army, they pulled a long face. "What shall we do? These supplies aren't supposed to be used. We should tell Councilman Luo Mian at once. Otherwise, it will be a terrible mess," said Vice Elder of the Magic Court Wang Yi. They soon left hurriedly. Mo Fan and Ling Ling, who were hiding behind a stack of boxes, captured a crucial piece of information. "Councilman Luo Mian?" blurted out Mo Fan in astonishment. "Humph, it's indeed him. My sister has long felt suspicious about him," said Ling Ling while clenching her teeth. Chapter 383 Tracking Down the Councilman. "The problem is, we still haven't located the source of the plague?" Mo Fan said with a frown. The defective blood serums still did not prove anything. At most, Councilman Luo Mian would only be accused of selling fake blood serums. The plague that brought terror to Hangzhou City had still not been resolved completely. "Don't worry, I've already planted a bug on one of them," said little lowly Ling Ling professionally. "You're surely the expert here." Mo Fan could not help reaching his hand out to pinch Ling Ling's face again. Her adorable face immediately turned into a tigress glaring at Mo Fan. He had no choice but to lower it. The sound coming from the microphone was crisp and clear. The one with a fairly rough voice was none other than the Vice Elder of the Magic Court, Wang Yi. Wang Yi was bringing his men straight toward Hangzhou's quarantine zone. He was most likely heading back to meet Councilman Luo Mian. Mo Fan was also suspicious of Councilman Luo Mian, but Tang Yue, Tang Zhang, and He Yu trusted him and believed he was on the side of the Totem Guardians. To everyone's surprise, he had switched sides almost instantly and colluded with Zhu Meng. There's no fire without smoke. Luo Mian's decision had immediately intrigued the elder of the Magic Court, Li Tian. It turned out that Li Tian and Leng Qing had acquired some evidence that suggested the councilman was up to something. Hangzhou's quarantine zone. Under the white tents lay rows of beds with patients shrieking on them. It sounded like the cries of ghouls. As time gradually passed, the wounds festered even more. The antibiotics obtained from the snake's blood were no longer efficient at stopping the virus from spreading. "Someone has died. The number will continue to increase in the next 24 hours, a healer said to Mr. Liu in a soft tone. I got it. Mr. Lu let out a sigh and said slowly, the virus is still in the patient's blood. It will eventually end up in their heart and brain. If these two vital organs are infected, we will have to be extremely cautious when treating them. Yeah, Councilman Luo Mian is here at the quarantine zone. What's he doing? Mr. Lu went over to the quarantine zone and saw Councilman Luo Mian and his men walking past the patients. His freckled face filled with a hint of worry. Unlike everyone else, he was not wearing a mask. Councilman, please save us. A middle-aged magician half sat on the bed while hugging his kid, who seemed to be around 10 years old. Both of their bodies were covered in blisters, especially their faces. They looked fairly hideous. The judges of the magic court rebuked him when they saw him trying to grab the councilman's hand. They tried to push him away. Stop it, don't be so rough. Luo Mian immediately rebuked his men. The councilman with a goatee wore a gentle smile and took the initiative to hold the patient's hand before saying with a firm tone, brother, take a rest here. Once we kill the snake that's responsible for the plague, you will recover in no time. Unfortunately, we didn't have enough firepower at the moment, so we can't touch him yet. I heard that a tribe in Hangzhou City is worshipping the snake like a god. Councilman Luo Mian, is that true? If so, the entire tribe must be held responsible. We should hunt them down and burn every one of them alive, snapped a man who had just caught the plague. The words immediately infuriated the crowd. Many immediately transformed their sorrow into rage. Everyone, please calm down. We are trying our best to resolve the plague. As for the medical fees, I've already submitted a request to the government. I'll handle most of the fees for you, and we've already found out who's responsible for the plague. It will soon be over, so please bear with us for a while longer. Councilman Luo Mian said sincerely to the patients. We will always trust Councilman. That's right. With Luo Mian's statement, the quarantine zone which was about to have an uproar rapidly calmed down. Mr. Lu just happened to witness the entire sequence. He went up with a smile and bowed slightly. Only Councilman has the ability to calm the crowd. What ability? I'm just placing myself in their shoes. Councilman Luo Mian gave a signal to his men, so he could have some time alone with Mr. Lu. Mr. Lu, do you have any strong poison? You also know that the snake is responsible for the plague. We've trapped him with a super lightning formation, but as most of the experts were sent to the front line, we can't execute him in time. Didn't you mention that the snake's bile is the key to finding the cure? If you can provide us with some poison to kill the snake, we can easily resolve the situation. Any minute spent waiting could cost a person's life. Mr. Lu understood Councilman Luo Mian's intention, but he shook his head with a troubled look. Frankly speaking, the black totem snake is no doubt a specialist with poison. The strongest poison is no different than spring water in his eyes. I don't think it's possible to use poison on him. Councilman Luo Mian frowned. It was not something he wanted to hear. If that's the case, does Mr. Lu have any idea? I feel uneasy when I see so many people dying on the beds, asked Luo Mian. Well, as a matter of fact, from our latest analysis of the snake's blood and the virus, we've discovered that the snake's poison and the virus of the plague are not from the same source. In my opinion, Councilman shouldn't put too much effort into trying to kill the snake, said Mr. Lu. Is that so? Councilman Luo Mian seemed surprised. I have to continue searching for the cure. If you would excuse me, said Mr. Lu. Councilman Luo Mian stared at Mr. Lu's back. The worry on his face slowly turned into panic and anger. The situation was getting out of his control. First, the military had taken away the blood serums. Now, Mr. Lu had also discovered that the snake had nothing to do with the plague. If they weren't quick enough, their whole plan would be in vain. You, snapped Councilman Luo Mian coldly. Yes. Proceed with the initial plan. Affirmative. Chapter 384 An Important Breakthrough. West Fortress. Many youngsters were carrying mops and buckets to clean the bloodstains on the road. One of the youngsters hurled his mop and yelled furiously, I want to join the battle. I'm not here to do some cleaning. The corpses must be dealt with in time. Otherwise, it will trigger an outbreak. Hangzhou City is already suffering from one. We can't allow West Fortress to fall into one, too, said Wang Xiaojun. Suddenly, a scream of agony was heard coming from the bunker. The youngsters were stunned. It took them a while to collect their thoughts. Wang Xiaojun quickly rushed into the bunker and saw a group of battle mages rushing out in fear. What's wrong? What happened? Asked Wang Xiaojun. Plague. It's the plague. Big Li is covered with blisters, screamed one of them. Wang Xiaojun pushed his way inside and saw a half-naked man crouching in the corner, scratching the blisters on his skin. His nails had already pierced the blisters open. Blood with a foul scent flowed out from them, hideous to see. The soldiers in the bunker were absolutely terrified and ran away. Everyone was well aware of how contagious the virus was. If someone had caught the virus in the army, soon the whole army would be infected. Big Li, are you all right? Wang Xiaojun worriedly walked up and asked. What are you doing here? Stay away from me, the young battle mage yelled at the young man. Wang Xiaojun, it's none of your business. Move aside, the medical team will be here soon. A soldier came up and shoved the youngster aside. The soldier stood beside the patient, not daring to move any closer. Wang Xiaojun rubbed his butt as he walked out from the bunker and murmured, That's no plague, it's just the poison after being bitten by the poisonous rat. As he was mumbling under his breath, a girl wearing a red and black dress with plum blossoms quickly went up to him. Wang Xiaojun's eyes widened when he saw the little beauty. Since when did the fortress have such a gorgeous girl? Look at those adorable double ponytails, and the soft, tender legs under the dress. She would surely grow into a gorgeous beauty. Hey, what were you saying just then? Little Loli approached the youngster and asked in a proud and cold voice. How impolite, you should call me brother, said Wang Xiaojun. Save the nonsense, tell me what you're murmuring just now. Why were you saying that it isn't a plague? Asked Ling Ling. It's definitely not a plague. I had it when I was out catching some rats before. My hands were covered with the blisters, but once I applied the sap of the red falcon herbs to my skin, it was gone fairly quickly. Wang Xiaojun glanced at the slightly disdainful little Loli and decided to tell the truth. Are you sure about that? Ling Ling asked in a serious tone. She had been observing where the blood serums were taken to. She was initially confused about how the blood serums had anything to do with the plague, but everything made sense now. The source of the plague was the blood serums used for medical purposes. The blisters on the young battle mage were the evidence. Ling Ling had seen him taking the blood serum and consuming it before the blisters appeared. West Fortress had been very cautious to stop the plague from spreading to this place, so it was impossible the plague had come from a different source by accident. Ling Ling immediately went to the bunker when she heard that someone was affected by the plague. However, the youngster had caught her attention, hence why she had approached him. Why would I lie to you? I have a gray eagle as a pet, but as his lineage isn't pure, the beastmasters aren't too fond of him. He rarely gets fed enough, so I would secretly go to the woods to catch some hares or rats for him. I stumbled into some kind of poisonous rat beasts once and found myself covered with the same blisters. The eagle then went to grab a red falcon herb from West Ridge, and the blisters were gone in no time. Also, I was no longer be affected by the poisonous rats, Wang Xiaojun said sternly. Do you still have the red falcon herb? Asked Ling Ling. Nope, they don't grow around here, but they grow like weeds at West Ridge. Normally, we might have a chance of getting some from there, but it's quite impossible now. The white magic falcons are extremely violent nowadays, and might launch their attack anytime now, said Wang Xiaojun. Come with me. Ling Ling grabbed Wang Xiaojun's sleeve and headed straight up the guard tower. On the tower, Mo Fan was sitting on the edge. His eyes were staring at West Ridge, which had turned from green to white. More white magic falcons had been summoned, as if they were calling for more reinforcements. The mountains were filled with them. It was quite impossible to tell when they would attack next. The number of white magic falcons would surely bring countless casualties to the city. Mo Fan, I've discovered something important. Ling Ling brought Wang Xiaojun to Mo Fan. Wang Xiaojun immediately saluted when he saw Mo Fan wearing a uniform. Greetings, sir. Ling Ling told Mo Fan what she had heard. Mo Fan was not fully convinced. He asked more questions regarding the details. The red falcon herb can only be found at West Ridge, but look at it now. The feathers of the white magic falcons are covering the mountain like leaves. If we can't get our hands on the red falcon herbs, how could we possibly prove that he's telling the truth? Said Mo Fan. Ling Ling immediately reached out her hand and slapped Mo Fan's head when she saw him feeling down. How stupid are you? If we can't get close to West Ridge, we could simply ask this guy to catch some poisonous rats and dissect them. All we need to do is to prove that the poisonous rats are the source of the plague. Mo Fan's eyes flickered. He quickly hugged the tiny Ling Ling and kissed her chubby cheek. Haha, why didn't I think of it? Kid, what's your name? Go and catch me some poisonous rats. No, I'll go with you. It will probably take you half a day to kill one. You can find one in the woods just ahead. Come with me, I can lure them out, said Wang Xiaojun. Mo Fan nodded. He summoned the swift star wolf without hesitation. If the young man was saying the truth, it would be a tremendous breakthrough to finding the truth about the plague.